Alright, so I'm going to explain number 5 through 8 on the study guide. So for number 5, it says, in a stats class with 136 students, the professor records how much money each student has in his or her possession during the first class of the semester. Then there's this histogram with all the data. Then it says, describe the distribution shape and approximate median. So in order to describe the shape, you need to look at C, V, S, U. So C is center, V is variability, S is shape, and U is unusual features. Alright, so that's what you look at for shape. So then for center, you're either going to look at median or mean. This one says to look at median, so that's what we're going to use. Then for variability, you're going to look at either the IQR or the standard deviation. So if you're using the mean for the center, then you use standard deviation. If you're using the median for the center, then you use IQR. And then since there's no table of values here with all the data points, then we can't do variability for this problem. Then for shape, you're going to look at like the peaks or the skew. So like for this one, it's going to be right skewed because there's no data on the right side. On the right side of the graph, you can see here, there's no data here. Then it's going to be single peaked. Because there's one distinct peak right here. So then that's pretty much for shape. Then for unusual features, you're going to look at gaps or outliers. So here, there's a gap here, so you could write, and that's between 60 and 100. So you could say gap between 60 and 100. Okay. So then for an outlier, in order to be an outlier, so you're going to look at the Q1 and Q3. So an upper outlier is going to be greater than Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. And then that's for an upper outlier. Then for a lower outlier, it's going to be less than Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. Then since we don't have Q1 or the IQR exactly, we can't do it for this problem. But that's how you would do it if you need to do it. So then for the median, you're going to look at where half of the students are. So then in this class, there's 136 students. So then half of that is going to be 68. So you look at the graph. So there's about 60 in the 0 through 10 column. And then that means 68 is going to be in the 10 through 20 column. So you can do the median is approximately 15. So then that gets you the shape. You're looking at the center, which is the median. You're looking at the variability, which we can't for this problem, but you would look at the IQR and all that. Then you have the shape with the right skew, single peak, and the gap. And then unusual features, you would look to see if this value over here was an outlier, but we don't have those values, so we can't. So that's number 5. Number 6, it uses the same histogram. So that says the percentage of students with under $10 in their possession is approximately what? So then in order to do that, you're looking at under 10, so that would be this first column. So then that we said before was approximately 60. So that would be about 60 students. So So then to get the percentage, it would be 60 over 138, which equals, let me get my calculator. Where's my calculator? Here it is. Okay, so then 60 divided by 138 is that right there. So that equals about 43.47%. So that's for number 6. And this was for number 5. Okay, so that's 5 and 6. Now, number 7, it uses this information here. So it says the distribution of actual weights of 8-ounce chocolate bars produced by a certain machine is normal, with a mean of 8.1 ounces and standard deviation of 0.1 ounces. What proportion of the chocolate bars weighs less than 8 ounces? So in order to do that, we're looking, so for a normal distribution, it's going to look like the bell and all that. And then it has all the rules, which I think someone else is talking about in their other problems. But for this one, all you need to do is use your calculator and the normal CDF. So you're trying to find the proportion that's less than 8 ounces. So in order to do that, you're going to do second vars. Oh wait, here. Second, then vars right here, and then you get to this page. You're going to do normal CDF because you're finding a proportion. If you're trying to find the z-score, then you do inverse norm. So you do normal CDF. And then your lower bound for this one is going to be 0 because you're finding anything that's less than 8 ounces. So then your upper is going to be 8. Then your mean, then that is for the mean, and then that's standard deviation. So your mean is 8.1, which was given, and your standard deviation is 0.1. So then you put in all your variables, you hit paste, and then you hit enter again, and then that's your value. So then that means that for number 7, so yeah, for number 7, the proportion that weighs less than 8 ounces is going to be 0.1586. So that's that. Then for number 8, it asks, what proportion of chocolate bars weighs between 8.2 and 8.3? So you're going to basically do the same thing. You do second vars, normal CDF again. Then your lower for this one is going to be 8.2. Your upper is going to be 8.3. Same mean, same standard deviation. Paste, enter, and that's your value for number 8. So then that is 0.1359. So for 8, 0.1359. All right, so that's that for normal CDF. Remember, inverse norm is for z-score, normal CDF is for a proportion. And that's it. Thank you.